What is going on, everybody? This is Mason with the Next Guy Up podcast. I got Tinsley here. I got Zach here. We got some fun things. Some would say surprising, interesting, exciting things planned for today. So we're gonna start out. We're mixing them together now. We've already talked about it, but we're bringing in the season 2 with some sports, a little bit of messing around, a little bit of press releases, food for thought. Zach's been crushing it for his half marathon, so he's going to give us an update on that. But let's start us off with a little bit. Oh, fantasy football as well. I'm going to throw. It's fantasy football season for everybody, so I'm gonna throw a couple players out that I'm high on or low on. So I've been doing some research, getting in the lab. I know Tinsley has as well with some betting stuff, and we're ready. We're ready for some football season. We've already talked about it next week, right?
Yeah, college football.
College football. It's here. It's around the corner. We've already done some preseason, so but let's start out with what happened over the weekend. Tinsley and I went to a card show here in Cookeville. How long were we there, Tins?
Solid almost 4 hours, I think. I think we walked
And
in
I didn't.
around 9:30.
Did you realize what time it was when we left? Because I did not. I thought it was
I did
still
not.
morning. I didn't even think it was like 11, 12 o'clock. We were there that
Yeah,
long. But uh, give us a summary for all the listeners out there of how it went, some finds, what we
yeah,
did.
yeah. There's a ton. So, talking to the guy who runs the card show, he said this was the biggest show they had done so far. They've been doing this for like 6 months now. I was talking to him last night. Um, and so the most vendors they've had, and there's just a good mix. There's a good mix of sports, Pokemon, sports memorabilia, and collectible stuff. So it was really fun, just kind of walking through. They had it at the gym of every trace. Last time it was different. It was set up like through the hallway, and I think that's why it was a little bit faster to get through because it was like it wasn't as spaced out. So
Yeah,
people like would run through really fast to get out of each other's way. But yesterday it wasn't like that. Like I remember we spent a solid almost 20, 30 minutes almost on every table. There was a few where it'd be like, nah, that's don't really see anything. But it was a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun like looking at people's cards. Some people have some really high end value stuff. And then you get to the next table and it's like nothing. Like what why did you pay to
yeah.
have a table kind of thing.
I overheard there's people from Nashville, there's people from Knoxville, Crossville, just all over to come to like Cookeville and to see it grow. Because this wasn't even like a thing. What 6 months ago? When did you say it
Yeah.
started? Like 6 months ago, right? Beginning of this
Yeah,
year,
it was
possibly.
like right after the Super Bowl, I think, is when they started doing it.
Yeah, so that's pretty wild. But so let's tell everybody I was looking at some NBA cards. I just went a little smaller as I continue to learn about all of it. I didn't want to drop like hundreds of dollars on any cards. So I was going through and looking for some NBA cards that I could possibly flip when NBA season starts. So what because you were in the baseball scene as well as some NBA. So tell everybody what you found, and then I'll kind of go through mine as well.
Yeah. So right now I've been buying a lot of Ellie De La Cruz and Paul Skeens, and then Orioles players. Not just because they're my dynasty mode team, but they've got a lot of young, good prospects that their cards are worth a lot of money. So I've been buying their rookie cards. Looking now, I've bought a bunch. I got some Jackson Holiday, Gunnar Henderson, and Heston Kajar. I can't ever say his name. That wasn't right. I know it wasn't. So looking to get all those cards graded. Got a couple Paul Skeens and Ellie cards yesterday as well. So buying them cheap and then flip, get them graded. If you get a good grade, then you can flip them for a pretty good amount of money. I didn't go in looking for basketball cards, but I think I found the deal of the show. At least I've been
Of a
told that.
lifetime.
So I found this guy had a 3 John Morant graded to 10, or 3 of them were 10s, or 2 of them were 10s. I'm sorry, one of them was a 9, and he said $75, and I thought he meant $75 a card because it's already graded. John Morant's a star player, and so he said no for all 3. and me and Mason have apps on our phone where we can look up how much cards are selling for. And I literally looked
Mhm.
up the first one, and the last 3 to 4 that were sold on eBay were all over $125 a piece for that one card. And so
Yep.
then I looked up the next two, and they're all one was 75, and then the other one sold for about 50 on average. So I was like, I said, I double checked with him. I said, you want 75 for all three of these cards, right? He said, yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, okay, deal. Like normally you can try to haggle a little bit. That I felt like that price was so good. I didn't want him to be like, well, let me double check my price here. I was like, nope, 75 is great. Let's do it, man.
Yeah. That was awesome. I was jealous of that for sure. I even said it as we were leaving. I wish that I would have, because he picked it up or he like saw those immediately and took the deal. And I was like, man, I'm jealous of that. But I want to give an overview because Zach, unless he's like a secret, got thousands of dollars wrapped up in some cards. He might be new to this. Some of our fans might be new, so I want to give it. Say hi for everybody, Zach? I didn't give you time to talk.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to hear more. I think no, it's fun hearing you guys talk about it because I don't know a lot about cards, to be honest. So I don't know what makes a card valuable versus other ones, or is it just supply demand? I know there's different types of cards. I know different players can
Yes.
like rookie cards are big, so I don't know a lot about it. So it
So,
would be good to hear some.
tends to you mind if I start out?
No, yeah, good.
So I want to start out by saying that we are not professionals. We are just getting into this, but I've been watching and listening to podcasts and watching videos. So there is what is called a base card. There is nothing special about it. It's just a straight up card, no holographics, nothing like that. And then there's different versions of these different brands. So depending on the sport, they have a different brand. Like Topps is baseball, Panini is football. You have Panini and for basketball as well, but there's different brands, and it has been over the years as well. But they have different versions of those cards. So you have base, and then you have holographic. They have a shine to them. There's different colors, and that's what brings up the value in the card. So
Okay,
that's an important part because when you
gotcha.
see these like, oh, this is a couple $1,000s or something like that. That's not just a base like a what you would get in a normal pack.
Mm,
Everybody gets several bases, and then they usually get like a holographic, a colored card,
mm.
something that's special about them. They can have signatures on them. They can have a piece
Jerseys,
of a jersey in them.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Tinsley, you want to bounce off of that a little bit?
Yeah, no, it is that's the part that's overwhelming to me because you'll get a card and be like, okay, I think this is a valuable card, and sometimes those apps we use they'll tell you it's the wrong card. So there's different color versions, numbered, and then autographed. So different versions of each card. So like, it's crazy looking at the difference of you would find some cards in people's like dollar bins, and then you could find that same card. It's the same player, but it's a different version of the card that'd be worth $100, where you
Yeah.
could buy it
I
for a
actually
dollar.
fell for it. I got excited because I was like, oh, I ripped this guy off and it wasn't numbered on the back. That's why it was so cheap. So there's a ton of detail to it. But I feel like once you finally pick it up a little bit, and a lot of it is based on those players' performances outside of like if you're doing modern day cards. For I like to do modern day because it's a little more predictable. Everybody is on the CJ Stroud card right now because they think like he was a rookie gonna blow up. Is he the next Patrick Mahomes like worth card? I'm not saying player, but I'm just saying like those Patrick Mahomes cards or Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, whatever. But I feel like it's more predictable than your 80s and 90s that's already retired players. Those can go up and down, but a lot of the cards will be higher in value because everybody wants them because the player plays really well. Wimby is really a popular card right now. Paul
Mm.
Skeens, things like that because of how well they're and everybody's prospecting them to be the top player in their sport or could be.
So you're like, I mean, it's kind of like gambling on who you think is going to be valuable player in the
What's even
future.
more gambling, yeah, basically,
Buy
is if
low.
you buy a box and then you just tear into that $50, $60 box you bought and you get $3 worth of cards. Cause that's what I found out over we literally went and I went with what I thought was like the best cards out of there. And some people were like, I don't want these. They'll just go in my dollar bin. It was kind of tough. I was like,
Mm.
okay, they were nice about it, but I was just like, okay, I'm never buying a hobby. The thing, if I could tell anybody what to do, it'd be go for specific cards on eBay that you want. Don't buy these boxes, and because that's the most gambling out of all of it. You don't know what you're getting, and more than likely, you're probably not getting a whole lot of cards that are worth anything. So that's just my opinion.
That is pretty neat. I think it's a cool hobby that you could make a little bit of money on if you're wanting to turn stuff over pretty fast and stuff like that. It seems so that's pretty cool.
Tinsley's already got. We both got stuff on eBay already. So
Wow.
It's true.
Tinsley had a Mets card that he was trying to get rid of.
Yeah, it's funny. So that's where it is a gamble because I got it out of a pack. One of those boxes that we bought. I bought the same ones Mason did, and then I bought some extras of baseball stuff. And it's a Mets team card numbered to 10. And I kept showing it to people yesterday, and they're like, "It's a really cool card. I just don't want it because you're gonna have to sell it to a Mets fan." And so I talked to a few different guys at tables, and they're like, "Just put it on eBay, man. If you put it on eBay, you'll sell it. Someone will be looking for it." So because it's very rare. I mean, there's only 10 of them. So pretty cool.
Are there like collectors that try and build like whole teams out of, or is that a thing? I can see Tins doing that.
People try to do every year every year like the cards come out and people will try to build have every different version of a Trevor Lawrence card from that year, all the different holographics and numbers and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean you can do stuff like that.
I'm surprised he doesn't have that set already.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence cards are pretty expensive. Quarterbacks. So the thing about football is quarterbacks. If you're going to get into sports card collecting for football, I would say spend all your money on quarterbacks. All the other positions really don't have that much value. And then I don't know, I'm also doing Pokemon. I bought a lot of Pokemon yesterday.
Dragonite, baby.
Bought a couple Dragonites that I'm going to get graded.
So if you're
please tell the story. Well, go ahead.
If you're going to get some rookie cards, you'd want to do like you could potentially pick up like a Drake May or something, and then if he pops off and becomes a good quarterback, then you would have.
Yep,
that's a good investment, right?
Right.
Is that the idea?
You mean Joe Milton?
All those cards. So that's the fun thing is the season. Since the season's about to start, they haven't released the rookie class cards yet, and when they do, it'll probably be in about 2 weeks. People will just go crazy, try to buy it, try to get as much of that product as you can.
Like Caleb Williams rookie cards are going to pop off.
Yeah. Honestly, the best thing to do would be to buy a bunch of the factory sealed boxes and never open them and just hope this quarterback class hits. Because like right now, if you try to go buy like the Joe Burrow rookie class stuff, it's significantly more expensive than when it came out, just because it has 3 good quarterbacks with Herbert, Burrow, and Tua. And then like Trevor's year is pretty expensive because there's only one quarterback really from that class. And so it makes it more valuable if you have that stuff sealed up and have never opened it. I'm thinking about doing that. I'm thinking it's going to be hard for me to make myself not open it because I have no self-control.
I read online that people were using some like devices that could look through.
This is very new.
Cardboard. Yeah,
CT scanning.
I saw a headline about it. Yeah, could ruin the whole market.
It really could actually
for closed boxes.
Yeah.
Very cool. I feel like a lot of places now that you can't even get them in person. Like if you go to Walmart, you're not buying. Like we had to buy ours online. Our boxes that we got, we couldn't even like go somewhere and put like at an actual store and buy these boxes. So maybe it won't. Yeah. Maybe they'll just close it down to just online shopping. Go ahead, Tins.
Well, those shops could just scan them and keep all the good boxes for themselves, and then
that's where they have to be. They have to be honest with themselves.
I mean, we have a card shop because that's been the thing for the last few years since cards became popular. Is people know when Walmart restocks them. I know when Walmart restocks them because they get all the shipments from UPS. Like I know the boxes they come in, and I've I've gone the next day to Walmart because I'm like, all right, well, they got their boxes yesterday, so they should be putting it out today, and they do. But people hit them up like as soon as Walmart opens and buy everything they get.
That's crazy.
So
yeah, that's wild.
All right. So is that good on the card talk?
yeah, that's good.
Great.
All right. All right. So Zach, you want to kick us off with some press release? Oh, Fat to Fast. Yes,
Fast
we
and
need
fast.
an update. It's been
Yeah.
hot here, and
Um,
you're over here running 8 mile. Like how's it been there? It's
it
been
is.
hot.
It's hot. I only run in the mornings, so
Okay.
I was out running by like probably like 6:45 yesterday my time. So I run probably really right when the sun comes up on Saturdays, just um to beat the heat a little bit. I like running on an empty stomach as well. So yeah, I hit 8 yesterday, which was really good. That's the furthest I've ever run. We still have that 5 miles left to push. It's about a 10.5 minute pace still for those 8 miles, which is not bad. I really am pushing for a 10-minute pace for the whole half marathon. So we have 10 weeks left officially, 10 weeks from yesterday. So we still have plenty of time, 2.5 months. I think we're gonna make it, but that's the big goal. Really is the big goal is 10-minute pace, and that's if we hit that, we feel really good. My brother's been running too. Shout out to Sam. He is running a little
Shout
faster
out.
than I am right now. So we're trying to bridge the gap a little bit. I mean, he's had some more experience running half marathons and stuff, but we've been kind of just talking about our training and stuff. So it's been good. It was a good run yesterday. I pushed it every time I add a mile in. Yesterday was the first time adding that last mile. That extra mile you add feels like death the whole time. It was just every step is just like pain and like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make it. But then you finish it and then the next time it's a little easier. So it just is what it is. You're stretching it out a little bit every time. So it's been good. I feel pretty good. I
Are
burned
you in?
my watch told me I burned like 1,500 calories before like 8:30
Dang,
a.m. So that's pretty good.
it's pretty good. Such a deficit. Are you and Sam running together?
We're running in the same race. I don't know that we'll actually run together because, like I said, he's running a little faster than me, which is totally fine. Like I said, I have my goal that I'm trying to hit, and so as long as I get to 10 minutes, I feel good. So I don't know. We'll see how it all pans out. Probably same race though.
How'd you feel in the last 10 besides that last mile?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the 10-minute mile, the total 8 besides that last mile. How'd you feel?
the 10-minute pace.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I came in with aiming for 10.5 minutes on this one.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't shooting for 10 minutes. That was my goal, was to hit 10:30. It's the first time I've ever run that far, and so I didn't want to. I would always rather finish like without walking than have to stop. I think I could run like 4 or 5 at a 10-minute pace right now pretty easily, but I didn't know if I could make it 8. So I'm trying to work my pace down a little bit. My midweek runs, I'm doing a little bit more pace stuff, doing some more interval training on the treadmill, especially trying just to get my body used to running that speed a little faster. So my goal really for the next 10 weeks is to try to make a 10-minute pace feel like a jog, feel like my base level. And on race day, I'm just going to hit that 10-minute pace, coast on it until maybe mile 9 or 10, and then and make a decision about how I feel. If I get to mile 10 and I still feel good, I can put up the pace a little bit, see how much I can shave off. But I want that base 10 minute to kind of be there the whole time. That's my goal.
All right. We're rooting for you.
It's been good. It's been good so far. But I'm excited about it for sure. Okay, I do have some press releases now. Are we ready for that?
Let's
I'm
get
ready.
it.
I have one for Tinsley. I can't wait.
Okay.
Last time
Yeah.
you said something like that to me, Christian Kirk got hurt. So I don't know how much I feel like listening to you.
I don't know whose fault that is. I was
Yours.
betting on the guy.
Yours. You
All
did
right,
that.
go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna start off with I have 2 news stories. 2 of the biggest news stories, both were Olympic based. Let's start off with the one that's been consuming the internet this week. That would be about an Australian breakdancer named Raygun, which this story is just insanity. if you're following the Olympics, it was she was a breakdancer for Australia. Her performance was pretty awful. Like it looked like a joke almost. It looked like it was a parody
Mhm.
of breakdancing. And so after this happened, a lot of news has come out about the story. She is apparently has a PhD in gender studies, and she teaches classes on breakdancing at an Australian university of some kind. Her husband and her husband also run the like Australian Breakdancing Association or whatever. And so when breakdancing got included in the Olympics, there was an Olympic trial. The story is that where it was located, a lot of the competitors couldn't make it. So she made the trip, and she was chosen as Australia's candidate or the person they were going to send. It turns out that her husband was like on the board that was making that decision though, and there was definitely some collusion happening there. It kind of seems like she used some of the power she had to push herself through, despite pretty clearly not being the greatest breakdancer in the world. And there's a lot of videos shown from the other competitors who had auditioned who were much better than she was. So long story short, there is a big fuss happening over this. People are not super happy, and breakdancing officially it will not be included in the 2028
Tough
Olympics.
break.
So congratulations, Raygun. You played yourself, and breakdancing is no longer part of the Olympics. Hope you enjoyed it while it lasted.
I'm sure everybody's already seen the video, but if not, you have to. There's like memes. There's like
Yeah.
there's a dance move where she looks like she could be part of the Scooby Doo crew where they do like the sneaking around and stuff. It's just funny.
There was an MMA fighter who did part of her routine as like a celebration after they won the fight. She's like on the ground doing the dance.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
The celebrate or the Turkish guy, the Turkish shooter who went viral. That celebration's also been going around with the gun and
the
with
hand
the
in
hand
the
in the
pocket.
pocket. It's very funny. Okay, so then the other big Olympic kind of controversy going around now is actually about the next Olympics. So they announced officially the 5. So whenever you get to host the Olympics, you get a choice as to adding a couple of like country specific events you would like to be added. And so we found the 5 that are going to be added this year. The biggest headline is flag football, which is the one kind of garnering some controversy right now. But you also have included baseball and softball, which are back. Lacrosse, which I'm not sure how many countries play lacrosse. I guess they do, or it wouldn't be included. Cricket and squash, similar to like a racquetball type sport. So these are the 5 sports being added this year. Flag football has gotten some controversy because the captain of the U.S. flag football team, whose name is, I have his name right here, Darrell Doucette, calls it disrespectful to assume NFL players will simply take Olympic team spots when the sport debuts at the 2028 LA Games. So there are some quarterbacks that have been thrown around. I think Jalen Hurts has been vocal about wanting to participate. Patrick Mahomes said it would be fun. Caleb Williams has mentioned it as well. There's a lot of speculation as to which wide receivers and defensive backs might be included in this 7 versus 7 kind of matchup. And this guy thinks he should be a part of the team. Now he is 5'7", did not play any kind of athletics in college except for intramural flag football for Xavier University, where he went to college. So basically, he has the same football experience that most of us have. As someone who also played intramural flag football in college.
Same.
And yeah, he's like, I think we should get a shot at it. So I think they're going to have an open tryouts probably. I think it will be. I think the only argument is maybe he's so short that it's harder to grab his flag. Maybe
True.
That's a hack.
Maybe it'll be easier for normal people to catch his pass because he's not Patrick Mahomes throwing it super hard. Like
could be, but if you have NFL wide receivers catching the ball,
yeah, I saw Jamar Chase said he wants to do it. Tyreek Hill wants to do it.
I mean, if those guys actually want to play, an NFL franchise is going to let them play. There's no way.
Yeah, imagine tearing like anything, getting some type of ACL injury or Achilles,
that'd
something
be
that's
bad.
non-contact, yeah, and you're out because you're playing flag football for the Olympics. I don't think a whole lot of NFL teams are going to get behind this, but I could be wrong.
But the NBA does.
Yeah, I feel like it's a
Yeah.
little different.
I know there's players with like stuff in their contract they're not allowed to do. Like Patrick Mahomes isn't allowed to play pickup basketball.
I mean, that makes sense.
He would do it in the summers and play in leagues, and when he got his big contract, they're like, "You're done doing that."
I mean, it's an Olympic gold medal on the line, which is very cool. I think a lot of people would like to do that. I don't
Should
know.
we
We saw
try
what
out?
happened in 3-on-3 basketball this year. What happens if you don't have NBA players representing your country? People were making the argument of like, oh, it's such a different game, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden they just get wrecked by the rest of the world because we had our C team players in there playing. People who retired or people who never made the league or whatever it is. So I just don't think we should mess around with trying to play college guys or trying to play retired NFL players or whatever. I think we just need to put the big guns in. It'll be great for numbers.
Sweep.
The whole nation will be watching. It'll be fun.
They do it for Pro Bowl, I guess. I kind of
I
forgot
saw a
about
recommendation that you just make the 2027 Pro Bowl the like U.S. national team versus the NFL. It's whichever team wins gets to go.
that. Gets to go.
That'll be electric. I mean, the Pro
I'm
Bowl
here
numbers
for it.
would be way up. So that would be fun. Those are the two main things. I had a couple other fun little ones. I have a couple of food for thoughts as well. Oh, yeah, that's it. I'll save the rest for food for thought. A couple.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
Mason, what you got?
All right. I'm bringing Tinsley's favorite segment to the podcast, and that is going to be pumpkin spice trash bags, kitty litter, and chewing gum
What
have hit the shelves. Yep.
Stop the madness.
Hefty, ultra strong pumpkin spice cinnamon pumpkin spice scented trash bags. Did I mention? Though? Because everybody has this addiction. Not everybody, especially not tens, but
especially
addiction.
Huh?
An addiction?
People, you think people are addicted to pumpkin spice?
People love it. Not addicted, but people love it.
You addicted to pumpkin spice?
Is that a quote from a movie?
It's a Jim Harbaugh quote that I changed a word from.
Okay.
Jim Harbaugh interviews Jameis Winston. You'll find it.
Okay. Did I mention that there's pumpkin spice kitty litter?
Just the smell?
Yes. No, the taste.
Nothing like some pumpkin spice to cover up your cat's crap.
And then the gum's not too weird. The chewing gum. That's probably the most tamed out of all of them.
I think I'm good on that.
Okay, next. Ring camera users claim to have spotted filmed UFOs zigzagging across California skies. I wanted to bring up some alien talk. We haven't had this in a while. It's been what, a year?
It's been too long since the alien talk.
It's been too long. That's all I got for you.
Oh, that's the whole headline? Okay.
Call me Zach. I read a headline.
A camera catches something going zigzag in the sky. That's the headline.
A flurry of California Ring camera users claim that to have spotted and filmed UFOs zigzagging in the nighttime sky. Users shared reports of sightings late Friday across Palmdale and Lancaster, north of Los Angeles.
Did you get the video? Can you confirm?
I can confirm. Oh, wait. It went to another video because I've had this pulled up too long. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, here we go. Am I supposed to play it? What am I doing?
Well, I just want you to watch it and tell this is actually like a UFO.
Okay, I'm pulling it up. It's loading. Dang it, an ad.
There is no video. Mason got by the internet again.
Apparently, this was close to a U.S. Air Force base. Could it not just been a plane? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm watching it right now.
A drone?
Yeah, it looks like it does look like a very bright figure zigzagging in the sky. Like, it doesn't look
Wow.
like so I don't know what to tell you. It's far away.
All
There you
right.
go.
Can
There it
confirm,
is.
everybody. It's UFO. The aliens are back, baby.
Oh boy. Looks like every other UFO video I've ever seen.
This one's real, though.
This one's real. That's right. Okay. I have a food for thought. So, Zach, go ahead. Wait, Tins, did you have anything?
No, the only news I have in my brain is I've been having to learn the 10 driving rules of UPS. So
What's one of them?
other than the card show yesterday, all my free time is just I don't know. I just have to answer it on a test.
It's not good.
It's not
Can't even
good.
name one.
Clearing intersections. When clearing an intersection, you have to look left, right, and then back to the left.
Wow.
Blah 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 blah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I think you're good. Okay.
Sounds like an A+ to me. Okay. Go
So
ahead, Zach.
my first food for thought. Krispy Kreme and Dr. Pepper are reportedly launching a collab with a Dr. Pepper cream-filled donut.
Yep.
Would you try that?
Take my money.
Yep.
I tried that.
I think you sent it to us, and I said, and I quote, "Take my money."
I don't know when this is going to be happening, but
I hope it's soon. I'm ready for
It
it.
says 2024 football collab,
Ooh,
so it's coming.
that's perfect. Morgan's had a lot of different cravings this pregnancy. It's funny with the girls, she just wanted like sour candy and Taco Bell. Those were like the two things she always wanted. So far with Tatum, it's been like Dr. Pepper everything, and then Wingstop, and then Firehouse Subs. We're gonna have Wingstop for dinner, and she got 2 liters of Dr. Pepper from our grocery delivery today, and I was like, "Were you feeling some Dr. Pepper?" She goes, "Yeah, those are literally both mine. Don't open those." So
Okay, next. Subway calls for emergency meeting with franchisees as sales plummet.
Mm-hmm.
Get wrecked, Subway.
Is apparently hemorrhaging money. I think some people might say it's because their sandwiches are like $11 a piece. Some might say
more. Some, yeah. That used to be the cheap option.
I think that's insanity. I could go to Wendy's and get me a $5 biggie bag
for $5.
For $5, I can get 2 biggie bags for the price of a Subway sandwich.
And just the sandwich. We're not talking about a bag of chips or a drink either. It's just.
Let's just be honest. I go to Blaze Pizza and get a whole pizza for the price of a sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Sure can.
Like, who's going to pick a sandwich over a pizza? A whole pizza.
That's a good point.
Pretty much no one.
Also, if I want an overpriced sandwich, I might as well just go to Firehouse or Belsino's or somewhere that's like Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's.
Cheaper, probably. Yeah, sandwiches have gone up in price. I don't know as a whole, but
does anybody else feel hungry after eating one too, or is it just me and my metabolism? Okay,
I'm not a person that's going to spend like $12 on lunch typically.
Still,
if it's just like during my work day, I'm like, I start doing the math in my work day of like, how many hours can I deduct from my work day because of this lunch that I'm eating? Like, how much money am I spending on it? When I start doing that math, it's like, oh, this doesn't feel good. So there I'm at for that. Okay, I've got one other food for thought, and it is Starbucks. Breaking news. Starbucks fired their CEO due to declines in revenue. Starbucks also struggling, apparently.
Hate it for them.
Tough. I know. Tough break for those guys.
And I don't want to get too much into this. I wonder if it's truly just inflation's gotten so bad that everybody is like having trouble financially, and they're just like, "Yep, I can go without that $6 coffee," or "Yep, I'm not going." You just made the decision. You counted up the math, Zach, and you're like, "I'm going to eat half the price at some other fast food than a Subway."
I think there's a lot of other like specialty coffee items as well. like Dutch Bros. There's a lot of those little pop-ups that have started coming around.
Dutch
Dunkin'
Bros is good.
Donuts is good.
I think Starbucks, I will never stop Starbucks in the morning because it's like you're going to be there waiting in line for 15 minutes and then I'm going to be late to work.
We've been making cold brews just like at the house, like brewing a pot of coffee, putting it in the fridge, and then just pouring that with some creamer, ice, and some cold foam or whatever. And it's like 1/18 of the price of a Starbucks coffee.
Sure.
You know what, Mason? I think I would like for you to go a little bit more in depth about the economy of the country and why people are skipping Starbucks.
I was also interested in that idea.
No, that was basically it. Is that
I think you're the man for the job.
If you could fix
you know what?
the
Let's
economy
do
of the United
this.
States, what would you do?
All right.
What's the first step you would take?
Let's start with that. Make
Start with
Starbucks
that.
coffee cheaper.
Oh, that's your number one?
There we go.
That's my number one.
I think I'm
If the country is more productive with more caffeinated, we're good.
Mm.
That actually is not bad.
There you go.
See, thank you.
Fix America, more caffeine.
I think I'm taking all the available funds we have and I'm putting them on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl.
Imagine. You could like quadruple our GDP like that.
The whole country's hopes and futures rest on the shoulders of Patrick Mahomes.
I love that
DraftKings
idea,
take that
actually.
I'm putting a
Oh,
$6
man.
trillion bet on Chiefs.
That's good.
Okay, so I do have one more food for thought, actually. Sorry. Taco Bell currently testing out new Frappuccino drinks in the
Mhm.
US.
Yes.
You know, a company that's not
Struggling.
firing their CEO. Taco Bell is back, I think. Taco Bell Wendy's are back.
I think
No,
they actually may be.
I think
Taco
every
Bell-
month we should do a buy, sell, hold stock on the main
On
fast
fast
food
food.
companies.
There
I
we go.
love it. Let's do it.
I'm buying Taco Bell. Frappuccino game is about to go crazy.
Yeah, they've been testing them. It's funny. Back to when we interviewed Zach, Snack with Zach, we've been talking about my app not working and DMing about it. I was like, I really need this app back by the time they release the Frappuccinos and the milkshakes because we're gonna have both. So I mean, we'll see.
Is it back yet?
No, it still doesn't work. He said he's gonna get his
Bummer.
guy. He said he's gonna get his guy on it though.
For the record, I am selling Subway and I am holding Starbucks stock.
Oh,
It's gonna bounce back.
buy it while it dips.
If it does dip, I will buy. Is it dip right now? I guess it probably is. Maybe I should buy. I'm buying some. I'm in.
I think I'm
If they
buying
get rid
all
of
the
pumpkin
Taco Bell
spice, I'm in.
stock. They're about to bring back the decades menu items at
Taco
Taco Bell. Yeah, it's about to go crazy. They got the tostada. They got the extra beefy gordita. Yeah, I mean, all Mexican pizza. It's about to go wild.
So, speaking of Taco Bell and the breakfast, do they still do the breakfast if they're bringing the Frappuccino? The Cinnabons with the Frappuccino might slap. It might
true.
hit. Yeah.
The Cinnabons are
Those are
sweet.
good.
That's a morning. That's just very sweet for the morning.
That sounds like a pretty good caffeine rush sugar. That's what all America needs. Vote for Mason, and I will make sure that every citizen gets every single person gets Cinnabon and a Frappuccino every morning for free. That's how we make us productive.
So you're really going against Michelle Obama's healthy food.
He is running in
plan.
direct opposition to that.
I mean, like
The solution to the country: less healthy food.
you all, you all know me as a person.
He will
That's
jump
right.
on that one though.
Hey, it's
He'll
already in
follow
California.
California's lead. He said Red 40 banned nationwide.
Get it out of here. Cinnabons, everybody have them.
I'd like to see him try to take my Red 40 away. Get those
You
t-shirts
just-
made.
like doomsday prepping, but it's like flaming hot Cheetos in your basement or whatever.
Yep.
Like just boxes and boxes, selling them on the black market.
That's right. That's my plan. That's my future
It's a pretty
get
good
rich quick scheme.
So, speaking of buying or selling, are we buying into? I'm gonna go ahead and do my food for thought.
Yep, you got it.
Snoop Dogg's new ice cream flavor.
I'm in.
Do you know
Count
what
me
it
in.
is?
Nope, I don't know what it is, but I'm in.
Sure, it's
Okay,
crazy.
so everybody knows he kind of took the Olympics by storm, and he wasn't even in a sport. He was
Yeah.
he was attending every single one. I think that there's actually clones of him because every single time I watched a sport, it could be the most random thing. He was there in the stands. So, did you know he also has 2 selling cookbooks. So this whole food industry thing is not new for him. But he has a Dr. Bombay ice cream launched last year,
Mm.
and the flavor is let's have some guesses at least.
Marijuana.
No, but good
Is
guess.
that a flavor? I don't know. It could be.
I'm gonna go
Could be.
chicken and waffles.
Oh man. It is peanut butter jelly time ice cream.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'd try
I
that.
feel like it's already kind of been a thing. Maybe not the jelly part, but peanut butter jelly time. That was a song, obviously, like popular in the early 2000s. And then this is what it looks like. But this is the new ice cream to hit the shelves.
Great.
Interesting.
Peanut
I'll
butter
try
jelly.
that.
You try that?
I'll try
Buying
that.
in, selling. Okay. All right. Well, that was my only food for thought. Tens, any food, any pumpkin spice? You want to rattle
No,
off another
I have one. Yeah,
10?
no research. Every company now is doing pumpkin spice. Just look for it. Everyone.
literally everyone.
That's it.
I had one. It was the Dairy Queen's got their fall menu coming out, and a little bit disappointing here. There's no s'mores.
I
They're
kind
not.
of tough
They're
break.
not doing s'mores this fall. Maybe it's going to be on the winter release, or maybe it's just a thing where they're going to skip it this year. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, it's official that it will not be on the fall menu, which is a very big disappointment because that is my favorite one. They have added caramel Java chip. I will try that. And then all the other ones are just kind of stuff they already normally do. They've got an Oreo fudge pie, a French silk pie, which I don't know what that means, pumpkin pie, bleh, and then salted caramel truffle. So those are some of the new ones. But I don't know. I don't know why we're not getting s'mores. I need to talk to the Dairy Queen CEO.
The truffle flavor is weird in a blizzard, kind of, huh?
Yeah,
Was it salted caramel truffle?
yeah. So
What
it's
even
just
is
gonna.
that?
It's nothing. It's just gonna be caramel. That's all it is.
Nothing.
No,
Yeah.
it's just a
I
salted
feel like truffle
caramel.
is something that gets thrown around a lot nowadays, and it's like, is this really truffle, or is you just putting that
It's
on
just
there?
a fancy word they like to put in there. It's a garnish for words, is what it is.
The fluff word.
The fluff word. It's just to make it seem like it's cooler than it actually is.
It's like
It's just
sea
salt.
salt caramel versus salted
Right.
caramel. It's like, what is
It's
sea salt really?
nothing. It's the same thing. It's all the same thing. People need to calm down about their words.
Yeah, less words.
I
Why
could get
say
behind
lot
that.
word when few word do trick?
That's right. Exactly.
Love a good office quote. All right. Ready for some fantasy football?
I was born for this.
Born for it.
ready. I need you to
Taking
tell me who to
notes.
draft because I don't
Me
know who to
too.
draft.
So can I tell you all something? I have been battling back and forth with this because I want to do this segment for the people, but I don't want to get sniped because A, somebody will think it's funny, or B, they actually take my advice and they're like, no, he makes a good point. I actually like the research he put in, and I'm going to take him sooner than Mason actually wants to, because these are players that I like slash not so sure about. We'll get into that in a second, but I've been battling back and forth on this. Yes, go ahead.
It's the cross you bear, Mason. You know, you're a content creator, but you're also a professional fantasy football player. It's hard. It's hard out here in the streets for you. I feel for you. I'm sorry. You know, it's you just have to be better. You even have to be better than the advice you give.
Okay, I like that.
The
Also,
reality is
I
I'm just gonna follow the best available, likely in ESPN's little algorithm. So
so not my advice at all.
it's not gonna affect
Even
me.
though I do have a theory though. Tinsley was in on doing some fancy stuff, and then I said, yeah, I could do some, and then all of a sudden he was out, and I think it's because he thought this through, where he was like, I don't want to give this advice out, and I don't want Mason to snipe my player or
Are you?
Zach or anybody else that's listening to this podcast.
This guy's got
Yes,
conspiracy theories about fantasy football. No, I just you care more about fantasy football than I do. I even admitted it a couple
you're the
episodes
commissioner of the
ago.
league. What do you mean?
That's just because I'm the commissioner of the league. I'm the only one who keeps everything organized.
Do you? Because it seems like it's out of control at this point. I'm just
Oh my
kidding.
god! I wonder why. I wonder why it's out of control for this draft this year.
You're not
There's
going to be
one
there. That's fine.
variable.
Okay, real quick. So Zach came up with this idea, so I want to give credit where credit is due. We are going to do a green light and a pump the brakes. So a player that I am high on, give the green light to, and one that I would like everybody to pump the brakes when drafting. I don't hate this particular person. I'm just not sure about this stock or the situation that they're in or injuries, performance, whatever it could be.
Okay, I'm gonna
So
go.
let's go ahead.
Can I go first?
Yes, go ahead,
Green
Zach.
light, Christian McCaffrey. I think he's gonna have a good season.
So that's a little
Pump the
controversial
brakes.
take right there.
JJ McCarthy. Don't draft him.
Don't you?
Okay.
Good job, Zach. You did it.
So there is my contribution.
Okay, very good. So I'm going to start out with the green light, and this player is Kahil Shakir. I wanted to slowly get the name correct. If you're wondering who this player is, this is a player for the Buffalo Bills that I wanted to go ahead and I'm high on this player because of the situation, but also we've seen from his first year some things that he can do. And let's talk real quick about. So he's on the Bills. Last season, the Bills top 10 in completion percentage last season, top 10 in yards per attempt, top 10 in passing yards last season. So very pass heavy, a lot of yards, a lot of opportunity. Why would you think opportunity there? Well, some of the lead catchers for the Bills, you may have heard of him, Stephon Diggs with the Texans now, and Gabe Davis with Tinsley's Jacksonville Jaguars. Dang it, we talked about him this episode. So
Not
player
me, though.
with correct. So let me go ahead and I wanted to bring up what he did last season. He was so he came on at the back half of the season, and let's go ahead and pull it up. Sorry, buffering, and so he for the first like 7 games didn't really do a whole lot. His snap percentages was 10, 15, 24, 28, and then bam, week 8, 65% snaps, 71, 76, 74, 80, 61. Had one low game. I think he got injured during that one. 58, 80, then 70. Those were all percentage snaps. So he was on the field quite a bit, expecting him to be on the field more because Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis aren't there. He had several games. He had 105, 115, 92 yards, 57, 45. And here's the thing that got me. All of his a majority. So let's start out with week 18 going backwards. He had 6 targets, 6 receptions, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 3 targets, 3 receptions. It wasn't a 5 targets, 2 reception game or a 6 targets, 1 reception. It wasn't anything like that. Almost, he was high on his. He had another game. He had several games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where he was perfect. Every target that was towards him, he ended up catching. So I feel pretty good about it. Last thing, you're like, oh, well, they lost some wide receivers. Did they gain any receivers that would cut into his time? And the answer is they got Curtis Samuel. And last season, I was not a fan of what he did. He had, let's see, how many? He had 15 yards in one game, 33, 16, 5, 6, 22, like very low targets, very low yards. The last one was Mac Hollins. I think he didn't play the last couple games due to injury, but he was basically non-existent with the Falcons. So I just feel yes. Go ahead. Last one, Keon Coleman. I think that he
Yeah.
could be a possibility, but we've heard about his route running. That was my last thing. Go ahead, Tins.
Um, I think it's a good breakdown. I think he's going to have a good year. I would say that I would be a little bit more worried about Curtis Samuel coming in. Curtis Samuel did have his best career year under Joe Brady together in Carolina. Joe Brady is the offensive coordinator for the Bills. He loves Curtis Samuel about how he
Okay,
can a lot of gadget plays, a lot of bubble screen stuff.
that is
So
nice
yeah,
to know. Yeah,
but I think Shakir is going to have a good year. He's definitely a guy that I've looked at some props for. I think I took a prop for him to have over 800 yards on the season.
nice. Okay, that was a back end. Also, that's like at the end of your draft. So we'll probably do a couple of these
I
each
like that.
episode until the start of the season. But this is like a low. This is a high ceiling, low risk. You're not taking this player like high in the draft. Okay, so the next one to pump the brakes on, and going from Bills player to past Bills player. This player, I'm unsure about the situation, the setup, and that's going to be pump the brakes on Zach Moss. Came back from the Bills. Now he is with the Bengals. And the only reason I say that is because Chase Brown is with the team. He played last season. Parts where there was injuries. Oh my gosh, just blanked on the name. Starter for the
Joe Mixon.
Tinsley. Joe Mixon, thank you. Joe Mixon had some injuries, so Chase Brown came in there, and there's times where he had flashes, and that's why I'm worried about Chase Brown eating into and it just being like a committee. So I don't want you to draft Zach Moss as a number one running back where it could possibly be a committee wise. So I wanted to go over. He had the games that he played the most in. There's a lot of receiving. So he had 61 rushing yards when he came on against Jacksonville. Do you remember this game, Tinsley? It was at Jacksonville week 13. He had 61
Yes.
rushing yards. Okay. And then after that, he had low rushing yards, but he was out of the backfield 3 for 3, 80 yards in one of them, 28, 23, several rushing attempts. So I'm worried about it being a committee where they're going to want to use both of them. And I think Zach Moss is kind of similar, right? Where it's like they use a committee with the Bills. He did a lot of catching out of the backfield, and so that's why I'm like pump the brakes. Still, you can still draft him, but just don't expect him to be a running back one. There you go.
Love it.
Is he going in the running back one kind of range, or is he more like an RB2 draft stock?
He's a RB2. It's almost like RB2, RB1. I've done a couple of
Like on
mocks
the
already.
fringe?
Yeah, on the fringe. So I just make sure to. I'm just worried that they had seen like Zach Brown come out of his shell a little bit, and with this being his second year, I'm afraid they're going to want to use him more. So there you go. Those
Yeah.
are my two players. Might do a couple each until the
I like
season
that.
starts. All right, perfect.
Okay, Mason, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
And you're in multiple leagues, and so you're going to be doing multiple drafts, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, I think a question that's become up more and more is kind of the quarterback, when to draft a quarterback situation.
Yes.
Do you?
Well,
And so it's a two-part question.
okay.
Personally, I've always been the guy to jump the quarterback draft. So I love doing that. I think if you can get a top 2 or 3 quarterback, it's worth it. But that's me. I've never won the league, so don't ask me. Maybe, I don't know. But do you think we're gonna see in a lot of leagues across fantasy football that's happening more this season? Do you think there's a quarterback position like the top 5 or top 6 or whatever that it's worth it to jump up versus not worth it? I know last year there was like a really clear top like 3 quarterbacks, and then after that
Yeah.
there's a pretty big gap. Do you think they're the same this year? What do you think?
So my thing is, I would either go for those top 3 and you can probably guess who they are, but you're looking at like a Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. What do you think? 10's like the third
Josh
one.
Allen is up there typically,
Josh
right?
Allen Hurts situation somewhere in there. So
Yeah,
if
no, I
you're,
mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just say if I'm taking a quarterback, I live in the world of if I'm not going to take Josh Allen early, then I'm not taking a quarterback till round 10, 12.
So you have to make that decision. If you're going to take the top three, then go for it, pull the trigger. But if not, the difference in like that next tier, there could be literally like 100 points throughout the whole season, which really
Yeah.
isn't realistically that much if you think about it, or 50 points or whatever.
Is he
But
really three
also,
this
I
year, you
told
think? Like Joe Burrow, is he in the top tier?
Tinsley's
No.
high on him. I
Not
think
for
that you.
fantasies, no.
So
There's a
yeah,
difference in real world and fantasy stats points, especially depending on every league's different. Some leagues do four points for a touchdown pass. Some do six. Some leagues do like our league that we're all in that we do negative amount of points for fumbles, interceptions, and sacks. So you got to also kind of factor in like, okay, does he play in front of a bad offensive line? He's going to get sacked a lot. Is he a guy who fumbles a lot? Does he throw a lot of picks? Things like that. And then like bonus structure too. Like we get bonus points for longer touchdown passes. Well, is he an explosive touchdown thrower or is it more like dink and dunk and get a lot of completions? Because so it's really it really factors into how your league is set up and what you're aiming for. Because I live in the world of I would rather have because there's a big drop off in quarter or wide receivers and running backs. I would rather get more points out of those positions than quarterback because, like what Mason said, it's 100 points probably different from the number 5 guy and the number 10 guy. And that doesn't really make that much of a difference during the season.
That is interesting.
I was just gonna go off the what you want to look, and I'm giving away my secrets, and it's making me sick. You really want to look for a dual quarterback for fantasy wise. You want a passing, running, somebody that.
Write that
So
down. Write that
a
down.
lot of people are on the Anthony Richardson. I don't. I want to see it before. I want to see it before I actually take him. But you want somebody that does a lot of running on the ground as well. Those are points and passing, a dual threat than somebody that just passes and they're like everybody's like, oh, Tom Brady, one of the best to do it. Realistically, it wasn't like he never rushed, and that you can get tons of points from that. Like, do you remember the year? Shoot, who was it? There was somebody that ended up scoring like 80 points a quarterback because he ran for a 90 yard touchdown and he was a quarterback. So those things happen. And so you want that possibility where if you have somebody that's only pass, you're taking that out of the equation completely. So you definitely do some research on your points, everybody. Like go it's really easy. Just go like in the settings and you can look at how your points are set up and make a decision from there. Some people are in a league and they don't even know what PPR means. It's points per reception. And so you're actually wanting to look for somebody that does more receptions than like just run heavy. You want a running back that catches out of the backfield and somebody that just only gets handoffs. So there's a lot that goes into it that we can't all do in this little segment, but we'll talk about it each time maybe.
Fun fact about Mason, and Mason's very fun in fantasy football. And talking about fantasy football is fun with Mason because he thinks he has these secrets that are no one knows. Mason,
People don't know that.
you're gonna draft. Well, I'm talking about your draft strategy. You're gonna go heavy running back and wide receiver, and then take whatever quarterback is available in round 12. Like I've drafted with you for a long time. These are pretty common.
There's 2 quarterbacks now
draft
you need for your
strategies.
roster. What about that? 2
Now
quarterbacks.
that does throw a wrench in Mason's plan. I'm sure Mason doesn't love the fact that we can start 2 quarterbacks, but guess what? Mason's probably still going to run 3 running backs, or 4 now, because you can put a running back in that spot. Mason's going to draft 3 running backs in a row, and then a wide receiver, and then everyone's going to be like, "Crap, my starting running back got hurt. Now I have to try to trade with Mason." And Mason's not going to trade one of his running backs to you because he's going to have the top 3 running backs, like Mason always does.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He never trades them. But then he acts surprised that anyone's like catching on to what he's going to do. You've done the same thing for like 5 straight years.
Probably longer than
I
that,
will say
actually.
Probably.
I used to get clowned for this quarterback situation. Back like 5 years ago, everyone would be like, just hold on. And it was like a big thing where it's like you make fun of the guy who reaches for a quarterback first. And it's like, haha,
Yeah.
he doesn't know anything about fantasy football, blah, blah, blah. And I took all that. And now look what happens. It's becoming common because everyone's like, this
Yeah.
is stupid. Why are we all just waiting around? If one of us could reach up and grab number one, why would we not do
It's
it?
true. Yeah, no. Being in a league with that you can start two quarterbacks should make this draft very fun. Um, so yeah, I'm interested to see. I've never done a two quarterback draft for a league that's like you redraft every year. I'm in dynasty leagues that you can do that, but not in a redraft league.
Yeah. All right. So there's some fantasy. Yep, we're at the hour here, so let's go ahead and we'll close it up. But that's our fantasy segment for this episode. Thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate all of our listeners out there. Yes, Tens.
I was just going to add, if you loved this fantasy land with Mason, make sure you hype him up on social media because we're trying to get him to start
Hey.
doing some stuff on TikTok every
Yeah.
week once the season starts about ad drops and trade target, just whatever's on his mind. I'll chime in too. I don't know why he thinks I'm going to help with fantasy. I'm just not as good. I'm washed up. I haven't won in many years.
Mason's
He's
elite.
trying to get everybody to not pay attention to him. That's what it is.
No, my strategy is just let me get Trevor.
Yeah, we'll get some things on the
On another
socials.
topic,
Yes, Zach.
we have a big episode coming up Friday.
Yes. Go
We
ahead.
we are officially going to be selecting the official meat of the Next Guy Up podcast. We have a meat bracket. We've already been working on it, cooking it up. So this is going to be electric, I think. We've already some Flamin' Hot Cheetos. We've got some Moose Tracks ice cream. We've got some
Fruity
already officials.
Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles. Was it
Or
Fruity
not,
Pebbles?
no, it's Cocoa Pebbles.
Cocoa Pebbles. Yeah, we got some officials of the pod. So we are electing the official meat of the pod on this Friday. And then season 2 coming up very soon. Very, very soon. So
Ready for
getting
it.
excited for that. We are pumped. Football season is just around the corner, folks. 2 weeks. Really.
2 weeks. Yeah, I mean it's week 0 this when you're listening to this on Monday. So
It's true.
college football is here. NFL is right behind it. So make sure you are locked in on our YouTube, on our Spotify, Apple, and TikTok. We're pumping out TikTok content like you wouldn't believe.
Yes, we
I
are.
cooked dinner. I cooked dinner on there last night. Had an update from the card show. If you really want to get in the weeds, we're talking about Caleb Williams on our clip that just dropped just now. So I'm about to go fight with people on TikTok over that. But until then, we will see you guys on Friday. Thank you.